All right, well, we can go ahead and get started. Thank you everyone for joining us for our second live session today. We thank you for coming to our Discover Campus Live panel. So this session will cover different ways to get involved at UCF, a little bit about Rosen College Campus Live, and plus we'll share a bit of information about UCF on-campus housing. So I would like to go ahead and introduce my co-moderator for this session, Caitlin Walsh, who is one of our Rosen College ambassadors. So Caitlin, if you want to just go ahead and introduce yourself.
Sure. Thank you, Dina. Hi, my name is Caitlin. I'm studying event management and I'm born and raised in Orlando, Florida. And as Dina said, I am a student ambassador for Rosen. Today, we are here to answer your questions. So please put your answers for our panelists in the chat feature and we will answer as many questions as we can during the live session today. We also have a team that will be answering the questions down below in the chat as well. So at this time, I'm going to ask the panelists to introduce themselves, starting with the students, and then I'll end with Hayden from housing. So Jalen, if you want to go first.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jalen. I am a senior here at Rosen College of Hospitality Management. I'll be graduating this semester. My degree is in hospitality management, and I currently work in resort guest services at Holiday Inn Club Vacations. I am in partnership with the Peer Outreach Mentoring Program and also National Society of Minorities in Hospitality.
Perfect. Thank you, Jalen. Lisa?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Lisa Doe, and I'm also a senior studying hospitality management, and I will be graduating also in December, just like Jalen. And I'm here to represent the award-winning and nationally recognized Peer Outreach Mentoring Program.
Thank you, Lisa. Chase?
Hi, everyone. My name is Chase Hart. I'm a sophomore currently studying hospitality management with a focus on the theme park track, and I'm the treasurer of the Future Theme Park Leaders Association.
Dylan?
Hi, everyone. My name is Dylan Kruer. I am the student director of Rosen Life, the events team for all the students on the Rosen campus. I'm a restaurant major with a double major in hospitality management, and I'm on track to graduate in fall 2021.
Thank you. And Kira?
Hello, everyone. My name is Kiara Miranda Barrios. I am a hospitality management major. I am from Tampa, and I am representing Rosen College Leadership Council.
Thank you. So at this time, we are going to ask Hayden to provide a short presentation on the Rosen College apartments and UCF housing process.
Thank you, Caitlin. So I will just pull up a quick couple slides here. And good afternoon, everyone. My name is Hayden Lau. I am the marketing coordinator for the Department of Housing and Residence Life here at UCF. So you do have the wonderful opportunity of living at the Rosen campus if you are a Rosen student. So we have the Rosen College apartments located right on campus. There is no closer community that you can live in. So these are right behind the beautiful gates of Rosen. I just have a quick map here just to give you an idea of where everything is. It's about 40 minutes from the main campus. Pretty easy drive. You'll have the Rosen College apartments right on the Rosen campus, and you'll see close here to Universal, Disney, SeaWorld. So all of those hospitality hotspots that we have here in Orlando. And then just a quick overview of our apartments that we offer. So they're a truly apartment style. They're private bedrooms. You have a living space and a full kitchen in your unit. And then there's 2 shared bathrooms that you'll share with your 3 roommates. So really nice setup here. It is an academic year agreement. So that means that you would sign up for the fall and spring semester. Rosen is kind of unique where you have the option to add a summer semester. Many students choose to add that summer term. They'll stay in town for internships and jobs and that sort of thing. So it's nice to have that as an option. And then just some other amenities. I'm getting ahead of myself here. There is a campus pool. It's in a gated community, as I mentioned. Great location right here by Disney, Universal, SeaWorld, and you actually get free laundry as a Rosen resident. So free laundry on every floor. There's a study lounge on every floor and like a community space. So really nice. You still get like a communal environment, lots of ways to meet people and get together that way. So just some quick photos so you can get an idea of what our spaces look like. So they're pretty spacious rooms. You'll have a twin XL bed and you'll have all of this tan furniture that you see here and a desk chair. And then you'll have a living room that is furnished with this tan furniture. As you can see, people really get creative with their spaces. You can add other furniture. And then you'll have a full working kitchen. So yeah, this is what you got here at Rosen. So really great. And that is all I have. And then I'm happy to answer any questions about housing for the panel as well.
Thank you, Hayden. So next, Dylan, could you please tell us a little bit about the role of Rosen Life and those events for students?
Yeah, so as I mentioned, Rosen Life, we're the student life on the Rosen campus. So we hold events throughout the semester. This semester, we're doing events virtually, in person, and then also like a mixed mode of in person and virtual. So we'll hold some annual events that happen every year, such as Get Your Grill On. Unfortunately, Taste of Hospitality wasn't able to happen this year, as well as Rosen's Got Talent due to COVID. But those are some main events that we have for students. You can come. You meet new people, you meet the clubs, you get involved with the campus. And then you can also just come get some free food, free Rosen Life merch like t-shirts. And then you come and just have some fun at some events. So like just an example of a past event we just did that was mixed mode due to COVID was Emily. She's in the call as well right now. She's like a cake decorator. So we did a cupcake event where students would come to our office, pick up cupcake bags, like cupcake kits. Then they would bring them home. And then later that evening, we held like a virtual cupcake decorating night where you learned how to decorate cupcakes and make them look like mini Frankensteins. So that was really fun. So we do events similar to that throughout the entire semester, and it's really fun.
Perfect, thank you. So at this time, we are going to take questions. Just a reminder, if you have any, just put them in the chat down below and we'll answer them for you. And to begin with, we'll start off with Jalen. If you want to answer this one, how do I get involved and where do I start?
Yeah, absolutely. So for me, I started off, really nervous. I didn't really want to get involved. I didn't want to meet new people. I just wanted to kind of just get my classes over with and go home. But what I found myself seeing was a lot of different organizations, and the best way to really take that first step and get involved is to find something that you're passionate about. For me, it's definitely diversity. And how I did that was I just saw the organization National Society of Minorities, and they had a lot of good guest speakers. They had a lot of different opportunities where you could volunteer and you could go to like property tours. And I thought that was interesting to me. And I knew that I would want to be engaged in that. And I know I wanted to take something away from it. And that's what I did. I just stepped out and I, really just reached out to the person that was over that program. And I just said, hey, I'm interested. And they had spots available. And that's how I became a member. So if you're a student here and you see something that you're passionate about, there's so many different clubs, so much that is available for yourself. And it first starts with you just being the best student that you can be. In your classes, you just got to make sure you're being that star to yourself. And then you just share that when you go on these organizations and different clubs. And that's really the best way that you can just get involved, is just reach out to whatever you're passionate about, take that and see if there's a club that's available. And if not, you can even make it. And there's ways that you can go just to make sure you kind of create that foundation as well.
That is great advice, Jalen. Thank you. Do any of the other panelists want to add on to that as well?
I would like to, Caitlin. So definitely piggybacking off what Jalen said.
Sorry. No, you go, Lisa. You can lose.
Thank you, Dylan. But yes, what Jalen said, there's lots of clubs that can really attract to your interest. So as well as I'm interested in human resources. I mentioned it once to one of my professors. She wrote my name down. A couple of weeks later, she had enough names to send us a mass email, and I was able to co-found and now the vice president of the first HR-based club on Rosen campus. So if you have any questions about that, hospitality is in all different industries. So you can definitely create one if you don't find one that sparks your interest. And don't be afraid to reach out to your resources. That includes your advisors, your professors, and fellow classmates.
Awesome. Any other panelists want to talk more about that as well?
Yeah, so Rosen Life, as I mentioned, we do like annual events. Some of our annual events are actually events for you to meet clubs. They're tabling events. We invite all the Rosen clubs on the campus to come. We'll all be in the Rosen courtyard or in the Disney dining room. We'll have all the clubs there giving out pamphlets or little pieces of items. Like you can get the club's name, then you can get written down into their email list. So then you can start coming to the club. So we do that twice a semester generally. This semester, it was a mixture of we did one online, we did one organizations. But yeah, it's definitely like probably the best way to get involved with just Rosen.
Absolutely. And Dylan, if you could answer this one for me as well. This is a question from the audience. What clubs are specific to the Rosen community that you would suggest them looking into? And if you can provide some examples of that as well.
Yeah, definitely. I guess it really all depends on what you're looking for in a club. If you're a theme park person, we have a Disney oriented club, and then we also have a club for theme park leaders. If you're into restaurants, we have a restaurant. It's called the Floridian Restaurant Lodging Association. It's a student chapter. There is a culinary club if you're into cooking. There's also a wine club for people 21 and older. If you're into event industry, there's the Night Special Event Society. There's also Meeting Planners International. And then piggybacking off of that, if you're into specifically wedding planning, there's so there's a lot of clubs and each one is different. If you're interested in just the HR and hospitality, there's the HR club. If you're interested in learning about cultures around the world, and then also about different just diversity, like Jason mentioned, Jalen mentioned, there's the National Society for Minorities and Hospitality. So there's a lot of different clubs. It's just kind of all what you're looking for.
Yeah, and to add on to that, I would definitely say it's just speaking. I mean, the best advertisement, you're going to learn this in one of your classes, it's word of mouth. You're going to learn about all these different organizations and other friends that you have that are going to be involved in it, and they'll recommend it because they have such a good experience with it as well, or they see that other people in it and they're happy, they found their place, they found where they can connect and be themselves. It's just going to be really just getting out there, talking to your fellow classmates, getting to know them, connect with them on LinkedIn, and the organizations are going to come up. You're going to see advertising flyers all over in certain areas, and then just talking with your friends. That's really how I found out about National Society of Minorities. It's just I connected with one of my friends, and he said, "Hey, yeah, you should join." And ended up joining, and it ended up being a success for me.
We also have a lot of the clubs listed on our Instagram. It's at Rosen Life on Instagram, and then there's a specific section that says RSOs in our stories, and you can just click through that and just kind of get to each RSO's Instagram.
I'll add too, within housing, you can get involved through an area council. So if you want to join an area council just for Rosen, you can also get involved in the Residence Hall Association, which is going to be campus wide, but still another student organization if you'd like to get involved with that, you'll have the opportunity to join.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys. All right. If I could have Kiara answer this next question. If I am living at the main campus, can I still get involved in Rosen campus organizations?
Yes. Okay. So when I started out 3 years ago at Rosen, I wanted that bigger like campus feeling or experience, and that's what main campus gives you. So I decided to live on campus for my first 2 years, and then give 2 years at Rosen. But I fell in love with both, and it was easy because you can take the shuttle from the main campus to Rosen, and it works with your classes. So you can just hop on the shuttle at either campus and get to both campus easily. And so, yes, there's no restriction. You can be at both campuses at any time, and you can attend any of the activities that go onto campus. So you can look at the housing options that there are, and you can even work at somewhere on main campus and just take classes there. Like, for example, I worked at the student union for about a year and a half, and I just commuted anytime I needed to go attend class. So it's very easy. I highly recommend it. I love main campus because all of the events happen there, and you're not feeling like you're missing out. You're actually getting a better experience because you're and getting involved with other majors or other students that are in other majors. So it's great, but yes, it's totally possible.
Absolutely. Thank you. Do any other panelists have something they'd like to add to that as well from your experiences? All right, so we'll move on to the next question then. Let's see, let's have Chase, if you'd like to answer this. What's one memorable experience you've had with the Rosen student organization?
So last year, my freshman year, I didn't know a lot of people, and I was really nervous because I'm from Boston, so I came down to Florida. I'm meeting all these new people, and then Future Theme Park Association, they kind of took me in, and I really just kind of became a member of that family and that community. So every winter, there's a big trip to California where we go to Disneyland, Universal, Six Flags, a bunch of different parks, and do like site visits and all these behind the scenes crazy tours and really, really amazing stuff. And I was one of the lucky few chosen to go. And that was just something that it made me really fall in love with this major, and something that made me really like fall in love with Rosen and know that this was the place that I need to be. And I'd really just say, if anybody has any interest in hospitality, this is the spot. So there's so many great clubs and organizations here, and there's so many great people you can meet. Everybody here is awesome. Everybody's so welcoming and very friendly. So this is really a great place.
Thank you for sharing, Chase. We have a question from the audience, and if I could have Hayden answer this one. Are there any dining options on campus or just the kitchen in the apartments?
Sure. So the main option is going to be that kitchen in your apartment. So it's a nice sized kitchen. You'll have all of the appliances, the main appliances that you'll need, and you're welcome to bring any other additional kitchen appliances, have some fun with like an air fryer or a crock pot, things like that. So on campus, there's not like a dining plan at Rosen that you could get. If you were going to be living on the main campus and commute to Rosen, of course, you could definitely have a meal plan or a dining plan at the main campus. But at Rosen, not a dining plan.
Thank you. And I lived at the Rosen apartments as well. And there's actually kind of fun with that as well. So I know my roommates last semester, we had dinner nights together where we would all make pancakes and have roommate dinners. So it can be fun. All right. Does anyone else that has lived at Rosen want to talk about their dining experiences?
I live on Rosen. I'm currently in my room at Rosen right now. While there aren't any official dining services on the campus, we live across the street from a Publix, a pizza place, a Chinese restaurant, a taco, a burger bar. So there's plenty of options right across the street, not too far to walk from. Every now and then, I know last year they would bring Chick-fil-A, and Chick-fil-A would be on the campus. A couple years ago, they brought food trucks out, and it would be like a food truck Thursday, food truck Friday, where food trucks would come out. While that might not be happening anymore, there's plenty of options just around the area, which isn't too far to walk to either.
Absolutely. I know I went to those restaurants across the street all the time. All right. So next, I'm going to open this up to any panelist that wants to answer. How do you get in a leadership role?
Yeah, I can take on this. So from my experience, I definitely would say first joining in and getting your hands a little wet. Like you want to make sure it's something that you like, that you love, and that you're passionate about. Because once you get into that leadership role, you're now going to be the face. Essentially, they're going to come to you for questions. You're going to have students, faculty ask for favors. They're going to ask for your support, and they're going to expect for you to be that role model. They're going to want you to embody that role that you're going to be taking on. So for you to first be in that role in the beginning, it's something that you want. You got to make sure you speak up and express that, hey, I'm looking for that leadership role, whether it's for any reason to get more involved, to have something to put on your resume, and then embody that as well. Once you're doing those things, you got to make sure you're consistent with whatever you're doing. If you're doing projects or taking on extracurricular activities, standing out from all the other members, that'll definitely help you drive towards that next role as well. And with doing that, you got to make sure you're consistent. You just can't do one thing and then just stop, and then hopefully that one thing is remembered. They're going to remember how you make them feel in the organization, whether you're helping the other members become more involved, more engaged, volunteering, or doing things that are out of the ordinary. That's what's going to stand out. You have to make sure that you're the one that people come to if there's questions or if there's issues, and then you can use your resources just by learning as well. And don't be scared to fail. Don't be scared to mess up. Don't be scared to say the wrong thing, because that's all a learning experience as well. We have leaders that are in these organizations. They didn't get there just by being perfect. They got there from failing and getting back up.
Thank you, Jalen. That's some really good advice. I definitely agree with that and have learned that along the way as well. I think the biggest thing is that, like you said, just don't be afraid, just go for it. Some people are afraid sometimes to interview for that lead role or whatever the situation may be. And you just got to challenge yourself, and you never know where you'll end up. You learn a lot along the way. All right, any other panelists have more to add to that? All right, so we'll move on to the next question. Thank you, Jalen. All right, so could I have then each panelist, maybe we'll start with Lisa, if you could talk about your specific organization and what you do in it.
So I am a mentor for the Peer Outreach Mentoring Program, otherwise known as POMP. I get to work with a specific student that's assigned to me, and we get to work together on academic goals and personal goals that we set in the beginning of the semester. We are required to meet at least 2 times a month, and that along goes with the program meetings that we're required to attend as well. I get to work with students who may be transfer students or freshman students or at-risk or probation students. And we get to talk about each other and our goals and what we aspire to do at Rosen College. My mentee right now really talks about getting involved. So I think that's really great. I always talk to him that you have a great start right here in Pomp. You know, there's a lot of opportunities, and I'm here as a resource to help you. And so is everybody else in the mentoring program. So it's really like a little family community, and we come together to help each other. Like Jalen said, you know, we learn from each other and we just grow with each other. So as a mentor, I really take pride in that, helping them reach not only their academic, professional, but also personal goals.
Absolutely. Thank you, Lisa. Let's see, Chase, would you like to go next?
Sure, yeah. So I'm the treasurer of the Future Theme Park Leaders Association, or FTPLA. So we are a group dedicated to growth through the theme park industry. We highlight professionalism a lot. So that's kind of, we're preparing the next leaders of tomorrow at your Disney, SeaWorld, Universal, all the parks. We are international too. So when we talk about all the parks across the world, because it really is one big community. So some of the things we offer, we have weekly meetings. Right now they're bi-weekly because of Zoom, but when things get back to normal, they'll be weekly. And we offer, we do a lot of activities, we do a lot of group outings, park visits, a bunch of fun stuff to just get everybody welcomed in the community. One of our biggest draws are site visits we do. So we'll take a small number of people who apply, and we'll go behind the scenes to, well, this week we're actually going to Busch Gardens. So we're very lucky to be able to have some opportunities even during this whole COVID crisis. So what we do is we will meet with executives, and they will give us behind the scenes access to different parts of theme parks, because one of the crazy things about theme parks is that they really are like a city. There's so many different components of theme parks that you don't think. It's not just rides, it's not just food. Everybody works together very cohesively, and there are many of our members that like to work in different areas of theme parks. So we cover all of those. And then our biggest draw is in the winter, we go to California, where we go behind the scenes at Disneyland, California Adventure, Universal Hollywood, Legoland, Six Flags, and Knott's Berry Farm. And it's a week in California. And it's honestly the best experience in my life. In all honesty, it really is amazing. It really made me really fall in love with theme parks and stuff, and made me realize that this is where I need to be. And if there are any people who love theme parks or maybe have that idea that they would love to do that, this is definitely the organization for you. We're a great community, a great family. People are always going to the parks together. Everybody's friendly, everybody's welcoming. You can reach out to anybody. Everybody will help you out. It's just a really great community.
Thank you, Chase. That sounds like a great club to be a part of and interact within the theme park industry. Jalen, would you like to go next?
Yeah, absolutely. So, like I said, I'm in the National Society of Minorities in Hospitality. I serve as a member and also a delegate. And one of the most unique things I think that I've experienced in NSMH, not only the hotel site tours and the guest speakers, but actually was able to attend early before COVID, was the national conference that they hosted in Texas. And this was a career fair full of diverse companies in the hospitality industry where you interviewed and you got to be able to meet with recruiters and higher executives and just connect with them. Really, they helped you. They had workshops where they was professional development with your resume, with your people skills, professional skills, leadership qualities, and a lot of good core values and traits that you got to grasp. And one of my best experiences is from that, that conference, I got 3 offers. Unfortunately, of course, things change with everything going on, but that experience just in itself, I really able to really find my worth and how I represent myself and how I was able to represent the Rosen College. And I know I left Rosen footsteps down there because the recruiters, they know my name now and they know who I am part of as far as the organization goes. And NSMH is so big, it's global. Multiple colleges, they all came together in one hotel in the Hyatt. And we occupied over 500 rooms for sure. And we had a good party downstairs and there was like a DJ. It was like almost a little college prom, but more on a professional level where you got to really connect with the recruiters and the executives. And that experience, just connecting and just joining, I just took that first step and I was able to grasp so much knowledge and that experience with that. And being a delegate, I was able to vote on the next NSMH president. I was able to be a part of that. And it's just amazing how I'm able to make an impact on who's going to be that next line level person to take on the NSMH role for Rosen, and not only that, but also for the entire NSMH group as well. Although things have changed, yes, but NSMH is still strong. They still have members. They're still engaged on their social media. And it's just something that you can take along with you. And you get to tell that story, just like I'm telling you now. Hopefully you all will be able to kind of take that story and tell your family one day and tell your friends, hey, I joined this just for taking this next step and I got so much from it. And you really are able to use your resources as well. I still connect with those recruiters that I met down there. And now I have that long-term relationship with them just by taking that first step of joining an organization and being involved.
That is a great story. Thank you, Jalen. I'd like to add on to that as well, just from my personal experience of the simple step of joining a club or an organization or even an internship will get you opportunities that you won't even be able to imagine when you first got into it. So if you're hesitant about joining a club, I know I was my first year. I thought maybe I don't know how to balance this with school and everything. It's absolutely worth it. You get opportunities that are once in a lifetime. All right. We could have Kiara, if you would like to go next.
Yes, so I'm representing the Rosen College Leadership Council as a Dean Ambassador. So our role as a Dean's Student Ambassador is really to serve as a role model and represent the Rosen College on behalf of the student population. So we really focus on special events, engagements, or just recruiting activities. So like some events that we do in a semester are like the area of expertise seminars. So there's specific seminars that are themed, and we either host them, we bring panels to speak to the students, we do faculty meet and greets, night of networking with professionals that are already out in the workforce, and then Rosen rundown. So that can be for people who are just transferred or just students at Rosen that want to know more about what there is to offer at Rosen. And really, the organization as a whole, we seek to create and strengthen the partnerships among the Rosen College's mission. So we want to develop those future generations of global hospitality and tourism. So that's really what we do. So we're a small group, but we focus on representing the student body, and we do events, and we just get together and talk about how we can do that.
Awesome, thank you. All right, and Dylan, I know you talked a little bit about Rosen Life at the beginning of the Zoom meeting, but if you would like to tell us a little bit more about it or any specific story that was your favorite part of being in the club so far.
Yeah, definitely. So, it is the events for all the students, kind of just to kind of give the students a break from classes, come have a snack, come have a bite to eat while meeting friends. But we also do a little bit more than that. We also provide free printing for all the students. All they have to do is come into our Rosen Life office and then you get free printing. We also provide the free Scantrons in case they have any in-person tests that require Scantrons. And then we also have free resume paper. The career fair, you give out a lot of resumes. A lot of students come up, they grab some resume paper from us, and then they can have some free resume paper. Um, I've been involved with Rosen Life since my freshman year, so I'm going on 3 years now. I saw an email, it was like, hey, come volunteer for our event. And I said, okay, sure, I have nothing else to do. I'll come help volunteer. And I started volunteering at like every single one of their events. My favorite event was probably the first event I volunteered at. They did a pool party down at the Rosen Housing Pool. They did a little pool party. They brought out a DJ. They had smoothies. They had sandwiches. It was a really, really fun event. I was just a volunteer at that time. I wasn't in my paid position that it is now as a student director. And that was just a lot of fun. It was like, wow, this is like, I'm glad I came to this campus. It was a lot of fun. And then I was able to keep volunteering. And then I eventually got into the student director role. And so I've been as a student director for a couple of years now.
Thank you, Dylan. I think I was at that pool party. I remember that was like the highlight of my week when I came home from work and I saw there was a bunch of smoothies and sandwiches out for the students.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
It was. Thank you. All right. And Hayden, if you could please tell us a little bit about different programs maybe that the RAs have for their students or different events for their residents at the Rosen College Apartments.
Sure, of course. So just on the note of RAs, that's another way you can get involved within housing and make some money and get some housing included in that. So great way to meet people and have a leadership role as well. So another good resume piece there. So your RAs will put together some events for your floor. It's, just some fun ways to get involved, some game nights, movie nights, things like that. They get really creative with it. And then with the Residence Hall Association, again, if you're interested in some more event planning and different programming, that's another way you can join and kind of, get some additional skills that will help you outside in your hospitality careers, with just planning events and things like that. So, and then of course I have to add all these great clubs that you all are speaking about. When you live on campus, you're right there. You're very short distance to club meetings, and you're of course surrounded with all these people who have those same interests as you. So I think you just can't beat that community that you get there on campus.
Absolutely. You definitely build a community with your floor and your roommates as well. All right, so I'll open this up to anyone who'd like to answer. Is it possible to be in several organizations and still maintain good grades?
I'll take that answer. I'll say yes. When I joined the peer outreach mentoring program, I was taking a full load of classes, working a part-time job, involved in an internship with the Orlando Magic. And I was very hesitant to join POMP because I understood the requirements. You're mentoring someone, you're gonna require to go to events and also the program meetings twice a month. And I actually spoke to a POMP representative and she was like, it's doable. Like that should not be a concern. Your main concern should be, is this what you're interested in doing? So don't let that fear hold you back. If anything, I think it even helps because when you're a part of a club, you create friends and connections and relationships. And we are all in the same, circumstances with classes. So we can make study sessions together and really come together and just comfort each other and help each other through the journey and support each other for get straight A's. That's all I've been doing since I've been in POMP.
That is great. I completely agree with that. When you are involved with clubs, you meet people and it gives you more motivation to do your schoolwork and to get different things done. And it keeps you going to have that support from one another. But all right, anyone else would like to talk about that as well?
I would like to piggyback on that. Everything Lisa said was completely true. I'm also a part of the peer outreach mentoring program. And yes, as long as you time manage, I've learned that in college you need to do that. Like whatever system you need to do, that works for you, do it, because you can do it. It's totally manageable. I am in RCLC, Pump, and a few other on campus and off campus organizations, and it's totally possible. And when I was commuting from off campus to Maine to Rosen, or Maine to Rosen, excuse me, I had to keep in mind that there was a 40 to 45-minute shuttle ride, but it's totally possible. So it's kind of nice because it separates your school life / work life / personal life, so totally possible. Just do like a Google Calendar. That's what I use, or do like a planner. So whatever works for you, but don't let it limit yourself or scare you. Do it. I think a lot of Rosen students do it. And if you just need to talk to somebody, or even one of us, and just to get insight on how to do it, you can just write to me in the chat. But yes, so possible.
Thank you. All right. So we have a question from the audience. This one is about housing. So Hayden, if you could answer this one for us. If you could talk to us about the housing application, when it opens for summer or fall of 2021, and how the roommate matching works.
Yeah, for sure. So one thing to note is that you will be able to apply for housing once you have received your offer of admission from undergraduate admission. So just important to note there. The housing application for summer and fall of 2021 should be opening up very soon here within the next week or two. So just stay tuned to our website. You can follow us on social media. We will definitely be posting there as well when the application will be opening. So something also unique about UCF housing is that you actually get to select your room yourself. So you can create a roommate group. If you know people that you'd like to live with, you can go ahead and create a group with those people. If you don't, that's totally fine too. It's nice at Rosen, you already know that everyone shares a common interest with you, and that is the hospitality industry. But you can narrow it down even further to different, how you like your apartment. Do you like it cold? Do you like it warmer? How much are dirty dishes going to bother you, and for how long? Cleanliness, things like that. So you can find roommates that way. It's kind of like a dating profile. It's a good way to think about it. So find your roommates, form that group, and then come room selection, you will actually get to select your own floor, which room you would like. And then there's only two buildings on campus for the apartment. So which building you'd like if you have a preference. So it's a little bit about the application process.
Thank you, Hayden. I believe Dylan and Chase, you were the ones that lived at Rosen. Did you ever go through that process or want to talk about what it was like from a student point of view?
Yeah, sure. So I knew nobody coming down, so I just kind of left it up to chance. But I was on top of when the scheduling was, so I was able to pick the room I wanted because I was there early. So I recommend doing that if you have like a room you want. I think the one in the back is the best one, D, in my opinion. So I think that was the room I ended up having. I actually really enjoyed living at Rosen. What you were saying about how easy it is to just go to campus was great. As a freshman, there were classes I had to take on main campus, but the shuttle is a really great thing to have. Just look at the schedule and you'll be fine. But especially with the organizations, I mean, it's like a 3-minute walk right over there and everything's there. So it's a really great thing to live at Rosen. A lot of people said maybe to live at main campus as a freshman, but I kind of knew I wanted to be in that hospitality world as soon as I got there. So I decided Rosen was for me. It may not be for everybody at first, but I would recommend definitely checking it out because there are great opportunities there, especially with jobs too. I worked at Disney. I now work at SeaWorld. Those are all within 10, 20 minutes of Rosen. So it's really perfect. Universal's 10 minutes away too. I mean, it's on the same road. So Rosen's definitely the place to be if you know that hospitality is for you.
I completely agree with that, Chase. I actually started out as a freshman at Rosen as well, and I lived there for my first 3 years. And it was a little different because a lot of people did start on main campus for their first few years. But I remember the freshman hall, and that I will never forget. We all became friends instantly. So there would be like 10 of us, before COVID, of course, in a room, and we'd have movie nights, or we watched football games, or anything that we went on, and just a group of us. We were never alone. We'd always go out to dinner. Some would go to the theme parks, together. Overall, it was a fantastic experience, especially because we all had the same interests of theme parks and hospitality and things like that. All right, but let's see here. Dylan, did you have similar stories about when you lived on, or you still live on Rosen, but living on Rosen, and just what it's like?
Oh, hello. Sorry, I was lagging a bit there.
Oh,
Yeah, I have a similar story. Except I was living on the main campus for my first year. So I lived on main campus. All of my roommates, they were randomly assigned because that's the way it is on main campus. And luckily, they were all like really nice. I've become like great friends with them, but we were friends. We still keep in touch. But when I came to the Rosen campus, I filled out that questionnaire that Hayden mentioned and kind of like said, "Oh, I like my apartment anything like that." And then what happened was I got matched with three other people, all with similar things like me, and we're literally like best friends. We do everything together. Similar to you, like we'll watch the football games, we'll watch movies, like all right here, and we become friends with the people around us because we all have the same taste. Like we all love the hospitality industry, so really it's just a great way to get involved with just by meeting your neighbors. So yeah, I basically like a similar story to like you. It's just that my first year I was on main campus.
very nice. It is a great experience. And one thing that I did learn along the way as well, and it pertains to being in clubs, is that the more you start getting into clubs or organizations, is how you meet the people you're around. And so that is how you get to hang out with more friends and meet more people. So I would highly recommend that to anyone at Rosen, at main campus, or in any college in general. All right, so moving on, we do have another question from the audience. Do UCF students get discounts to the parks? And I'll leave that for anyone up to answer.
I just sent a link in the chat. The student union does have a student government ticket booth where you can get discounted tickets for theme parks and other events, concerts, and stuff like that. So that's a student government at the main campus in the student union.
Thank you, Emily. All right, and a question to piggyback onto that one is, what is there to do in the greater Orlando area and different things you can do off campus and just around the town?
Yeah, I have a few activities that I've done. For myself personally, it's really close to iDrive. There's a lot to do. There's going to be, and even Old Town too. So for myself, not only the theme parks, I've gone paintballing, which is on iDrive. There's a huge swing. There's the Orlando Eye. There's Madame Tussauds. There's so much to do. And even if you connect with your fellow classmates or roommates, it's even better to go with other people. The food is the best. Like, I mean, there's so many restaurants out there going from unique cuisines and everything. And what I would recommend for myself personally, I've had the best experience downloading the My Disney Experience app. Not sponsored, of course, but and then there's so many different like reservations you can book for different restaurants throughout the resorts, of course, depending on if they're open or not now. But there's so much to do. It just depends on what you like. There's Disney Springs where they have like movies, and then, of course, for me personally, I've even was engaged in like internship, the professional workshops. They used to host a whole bunch of like webinars. Now there's called Recovery Skill that they do virtually. And it's just a lot of things that you can do to invest on yourself, whether it's emotional or it's professional or academically as well. You just got to kind of find that balance and then make sure you're using your time wisely. If you're going to go out and party one day, that's 2 days you got to stay in and make sure you're working on yourself. That's just what I would say for me personally, because working on yourself is just as important as, hanging out and having fun and living that college life. Part of college life is developing you to be that next ideal adult that you're going to be going into and developing into.
That is a great point. It's absolutely all about balance and time management. All right, on that as well, Dylan, could you tell us a little bit about Universal Nights?
Yeah, Universal Nights is a yearly thing that the student government offers students. They have a limited number of tickets that they give out for free to Rosen students and to students across main campus and the downtown campus. And what happens is once in the spring semester, the Universal Resort, normally it's the Islands of Adventure, but sometimes it is the main Universal Park, will be open for only UCF students from 8 p.m. to 1 a.m. 1 or it's either 12 or 1 a.m. So you have 4 or 5 hours of just UCF students all around the Islands of Adventure. it's a lot of fun. Rosen, we do our own ticket distribution to kind of give Rosen students a better chance of getting it. But then they also do ticket distribution on main campus. And I'm sure in the coming year, if Universal Nights happens,
All right, thank you. All right, so another question, and I'll open this up to anyone that would like to answer. Kiera mentioned briefly earlier how she used Google Calendars. I do that as well to manage and plan out your time and everything. But how do you balance your schedule with classes and extracurricular activities?
I can start. So the way that I balanced my classes and extracurriculars was that Rosen does a good job of doing, like, you can choose classes from Monday and Wednesday, and then that's when only the days that you have classes are Tuesdays and Thursdays. Fridays are off, and which gives students an opportunity to work to achieve those internship opportunities to graduate. And so I would choose one of those 2 days, and then either leave the other free days that I don't have class to either work, or maybe that's when my extracurricular meetings are in. So it would all depend on how you want to set it up. But sometimes I like to do the 2 days just for school and then the other days for work. So it's just like a healthier balance for me, but that's just my preference. But Rosen does a really good job with that. Like, that's when they offer classes. So it's nothing to worry about, because I know, like, main campus for other majors, you're more involved. Like, you're always on campus for classes, like, because they don't have Fridays off. So that's a big thing. It's nice to have Fridays off. So that's what I did.
I will piggyback on that as well. I completely agree with you. It is very nice having those 2 days, the Monday, Wednesdays, or the Tuesday, Thursdays. I would plan my schedule around one of those 2 days, and I would have half my classes online if I could and half in person. So 2 and 2. That way I wouldn't be in class the entire day. So I might go to class for 1 hour and then have the rest of the day to work on other classes, join the clubs, go to the theme parks, and then the other days would be for work or just relaxing, hanging out with friends, things like that. But Jalen, would you like to tell us at all how you balance your schedule?
Yeah, absolutely. So I work full time, and at a hotel, full time is like 45, 50 hours for me at least. And, for me, I would say I definitely started off with I started with one class, and then I pushed it myself to start taking 4. And I did the 2 online and the 2 in person. And with full time work as well, you have to balance it out. So I had off Mondays and Tuesdays from work, and I had took classes on Mondays and Tuesdays. So there was no days off. And for me, I honestly liked it. That pushed me to be the best me, and it pushed me to control my time management, which then allowed me to focus more on other things wherever I needed fit. So definitely being organized, making sure you're reading those syllabus the first week of class, making sure you know exactly what to expect, and you're making sure you're on your toes the whole semester. When you connect with the professors, and they're gonna tell you everything you need. They're gonna make sure you have all the resources and at least the knowledge to make sure you're gonna be the best student you can in class. And once you have all that down packed, then it's just you're putting it all into a bowl. And it's up to you whether you organize it via calendar. Canvas has a calendar where it has the due dates of everything. You can just translate that to your own calendar personally. I like to have things electronically for myself, but if you like to write things down, if you're more visual, that's definitely something I would recommend. But really, I never made a mistake with the messing up with the online. Like, I have a calendar on my phone. I never missed anything. But what I did incorrectly was I had left one of my classes at the bottom. That was online. So definitely, I would encourage you to make sure when you took those 2 online classes, don't let it fall behind. You got to stay ahead of it. And being ahead is on time for yourself, because you never know when something could happen. If the Y could come out, hurricane season is here, and things can happen. So you want to make sure you're prepared and being proactive. And when you're ahead in class, that'll allow you to be able to breathe. You don't want to feel like you're behind and taking things the deadline, and stuff is due at 11:59 p.m. You don't want to be taking it that day at 11:30, because anything can go wrong. And I've made that mistake where my computer has crashed or my Wi-Fi is out, and I'm over here trying to take a 40-minute exam on my iPhone, and technology isn't always supportive. So you definitely have to start with being organized and being proactive with your assignments, your class schedule, and then the organizations. That's going to be the fun part if you really think about it, because there's not necessarily that homework part. You don't have to study to be yourself in an organization. So that's the best part. That's what gives you that culture balance. So I would definitely recommend when you join in that organization, you look at that as that positive note. You don't think of it as, oh, it's just something else I have to do. That's something you got to look forward to, and that's something you have passionate about as well.
Absolutely. Thank you. All right. And next question, I'll open this up to anyone that has experience with this. If you've had any experience with resources around campus, so advising, career services, anything in general like that.
I could definitely touch on that first. For all the first year students and transfer students coming into UCF specifically, there's a program called Link. This program, basically what you do is you go to different workshops that are offered, different events offered on main campus, in the Rosen campus. And then these events count towards link points or link loot. And then at the end of the semester, you can cash in this link loot for different prizes. It could be anything from a speaker to a UCF blanket, to a UCF sweatshirt, to even a $500 scholarship. So they have many different workshops. Some of the workshops included could be diversity training. There could be LGBTQ plus services training. There's also resume training. And then there's also just like people on the main campus and the Rosen campus that will sit down with you, take a look at your resume or your essays or anything that you had, and then they will be able to help you out with that. So if you need to take a look at your resume, you can sit down with some trained professionals to look at resumes. They go through your resume, say this is what you need to fix. If you have issues with an essay that you have for a class, they'll sit down with you. They'll say, oh, you have some grammatical errors here. You should add something in here. So there's a lot of resources like that. I don't know if anyone else wants to touch on the others.
All right, thank you. I know the resume one's a big one that I've had help with. I've even brought it up to professors before because they offer sometimes to say, I'll help look at your resume, and they'll look at it for me and we'll tweak it so it's good to go. But that is a huge help and resource as well. All right, well, thank you. So this brings me to the last question of the night, and I would like to ask this to each panelist. If you could give one piece of advice for new students about getting involved, making friends, or any other topic we've discussed today, and if you could go ahead and answer that. And Dylan, if you want to start.
My piece of advice would be to definitely check your email. There's a website called Night Connect. Definitely check your email, check Night Connect for events that are happening. Don't be afraid to go to them. Don't be afraid to talk to someone and just make some friends, because you never know who they could be related to, or just who they could be for you in the future. They could become your best friend. You never know, but you will know once you go to those events and you meet those people. So like, don't be afraid, and make sure to check your email so you can go to those events.
Absolutely. Great points. Thank you, Dylan. All right, Lisa, do you want to go ahead?
Yes, thank you, Caitlin. Another resource that I would like to add on to Dylan before is also the Professional Hub. They usually post weekly announcements on web courses where you go to check all of your online classes and classes in general. There's great intern opportunities, volunteer opportunities, and work opportunities that are constantly being listed and available for the students. Another resource I would like to remind students to utilize is your professors and your advisors. Please don't think of them as people that you cannot talk to. I cannot tell you how much they have helped me. My advisor knows that I'm currently searching for a job, and she sends me jobs on LinkedIn, and without me even asking, she wrote me a glowing recommendation on LinkedIn. Another professor who was also on the scholarship committee helped me because when I told him my financial aid is not covering my final semester of college, and he gave me so many resources. Another thing is scholarships. Rosen College has amazing scholarships available to all their students, so don't be afraid to look into that. It's free money for your education right from the great school that you're studying for. So reach out and be aware of all of your options and resources, including professors and advisors.
That is great advice. Thank you, Lisa. All right, Kiara.
Yes, so what Lisa just said, that's so true. I also want to add the importance of mentorship. Having a mentor, being a mentor, is so important. So being involved in like the peer outreach mentoring program gives you the opportunity as a student to be in both roles. So to be a peer mentor and mentee. And then also to look for professionals or industry professionals that are in the industry already and will want to help you. That is great about our industry. Sorry, there's a cop right behind me. There we go. Sorry. So yeah, so definitely look for that because they will help you in any chance that you need it. So because definitely like all organizations that I've been a part of, I've always looked for that mentor so that I can seek advice or that they can send recommendation letters. So I definitely recommend that, and it'll help you get out of that comfort zone into networking, and also just so when you do graduate, you already have people that you already know in the industry. So it's great.
Thank you. All right, Jalen.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with, that you're hitting it on the money for sure. I would definitely say if you're coming from another college or if you're coming from high school, wherever you're coming from, just be ready to learn, be able to be a learning leader, and also give back to the community. The community and the college is giving you so many resources. Use those and then share them with others, because then when you share them with others, you're going to learn more stuff as well. You're going to be able to grasp more knowledge and really take that next step in becoming that future leader of hospitality. For myself personally, I would say one thing that I've learned is definitely taking every opportunity. This year, just by itself, although despite COVID, I've really been able to find myself even more. And college and organizations and just reaching out and taking every opportunity has helped me through that. So I would definitely say take every opportunity because you never know if it'll show up again. I took the last class for the cruise line operations, and I'm not 100% interested in cruise lines, but I was able to go on a cruise with fellow classmates and learn about the hospitality industry on a floating boat. And that's something that I can take with me forever. And I was the last one to, be part of that. I was one of those last students. And also just so many other things. The annual conference with National Society of Minorities, I don't know if they're going to have another one next year. So I could be that last student to do that. You never know what opportunities can be the last, the first, or who's watching. You definitely have to make sure you're involved in standing out because other people could be watching down the road. One other thing really quickly, I received a scholarship for timeshare, and I work in a timeshare resort, and I didn't even know that people that were on the board were actually employees with the same company. And I wrote a letter, and they know I'm a hard worker. So you never know who's watching, who's around, because the hospitality industry is huge, but it's also a small circle as far as the leaders and executives. So you never know who's watching. So always do the right thing when no one's looking. Make sure you're working hard, giving back to yourself and also the community as well.
That's excellent advice. I'll actually add on to that real quick, Jalen, is for me, my piece of advice I would say is networking opportunities. Yes. Network with anyone and everyone. That includes your friends, your professors, staff members, recruiters. Attend the career fair, the opportunities given to you, and keep an open mind. Don't box yourself into thinking that you only want to be a wedding planner or you only want to do this one thing. Keep your mind open and learn throughout the experience.
Yes, I agree 100%.
All right, Chase?
Yeah, definitely like Caitlin and Jalen said, just get involved. You never know whose hand you're shaking, who you're going to meet, what door is going to open, lead you to the next big thing. Just take every opportunity, even if you think there's not time, make time, because you never know what's going to happen. This year has been a testament to that. I mean, you never knew. Nobody knew this was going to happen. So like Jalen was saying, you got to take every opportunity, even if it's out of your comfort zone. Step out of your comfort zone. That's a big thing. Everybody's on the same side here. Everybody's here to help you, professors, students, members of the clubs, board members of the clubs. We're always here to help anybody. Text us, email us, DM us, whatever you need. Everybody's here to help each other. So it's a really great community. It's a great place. So, yeah.
Thank you. And Hayden, do you have any final suggestions or advice?
Yeah, all great advice from everyone. So I echo that. I would encourage you all to apply early for admission and apply early for housing. Check your NIGHTS email once you do that. A lot of communication is going to go through there. And then just on a note of kind of, moving towards your professional career, don't be afraid to get involved early in your first semester. I think it's really important to get involved early, start getting things that you can have on your resume and things that you can start talking through for, your next next job and your next thing. So everything, I think someone mentioned it, everything is always going to lead to the next thing. So you never know how that club experience or an internship or shadowing is going to help you get your next position.
Thank you, Hayden, and thank you for all the panelists coming out and giving such great advice and tips to the future Knights. And now I'd like to give it back over to Dina.
All right, thank you so much to each and every one of our panelists. You guys all gave such great advice and such great insight into the campus, the student life for our participants today. So thank you so much for joining us. So now we are going to go ahead and head into just a mini break. So for the next hour from 6 p.m. until 7 p.m. Eastern time, we're just gonna have a bit of a break. So go out and grab dinner and maybe lunch for some of our participants who are in a different time zone. And then join us back here in about an hour to get started on our next session, which is Discover the Majors Part 2. But again, thank you so much to all of our panelists.